hey, before I go direct a movie this weekend, it's imperative that I go see the Lego Ninjago movie first.
But how did you understand it without all the Ninjago lore from the TV show?
I had never heard of this until I got a trailer for this movie. Like, Ninjago, I don't know what these kids are into nowadays with their Ninjago and their Corey Hart claptrap.
I mean, I don't know if the show had anything to do with what happened in this movie.
I have no clue. Honestly, this movie does feel really standalone, but I could be totally wrong on that because I have no idea
Maybe
about.
they just summarized like what was in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
If that's the case, it feels like they do a better job than the Last Airbender movie.
Did you notice that there were things in the trailer that were not in this? Because we saw it enough that, like, I remember parts of it.
That's true.
There's the part where there's, like, a bride and a groom running away, and then the wife says, like, oh, I'll always remember you. He's like, no, come save me. That wasn't in the movie.
Oh, gosh.
At
I don't
all.
even... Yeah.
The part where, the beginning of the trailer, when where they're in the mechs, and then, he says something to him, and then he whispers, Dad. And then he's like, hey, what'd you say? And then they go into the dialogue about him going Lloyd or whatever. That was completely different than how it was animated here, because that happened on a rooftop. It was the same dialogue, but it was different.
And it went on a really long time in the trailer, or something like that, didn't it?
Or
something?
And they cut it down here, and there was some dialogue I feel was shortened. Like, when the kids, one of the other ninja guys is talking to him, and he says, like, oh, well, you know, my dad's like this and your dad's like this. We all got our problems. It felt like he said the line slower in the trailer, and then they shortened it here.
I guess I'm alright with that, because one of the things that I didn't care much for in the trailer, because I wasn't thinking much of this going into it, because really none of the trailers did anything for me. And yeah, I know, like, nothing about the source material, but a lot of the stuff in the trailer, like the stuff you're talking about, was like really just like ramble comedy. And I'm like, is it going to be just like a lot of that? And so I guess I'm alright with a lot of that stuff being taken out of the actual movie, because really, like, I got my issues with this movie, but I never really felt that annoyed by a lot of the dialogue that was in it, at least like to that extent.
It feels like they made the trailer before they made the movie, because like that's just like the beginning, and then there's a whole other movie there that is not in the trailer, where they're like in the jungle, and then there's the skeletons, and then they got to go to the old building to find the ultimate weapon or whatever. Like, it was another movie in there, and honestly I liked that portion better than just destroying the city portion, because I could not care less what they were doing when their mech suits.
I know, same here.
Can you tell me how many people were in his group, in his team?
Which group? The
Ninjago? Lloyd's team.
Oh,
can you tell me how many were there?
5? 5 or 6?
There was 5, including him. But that's the thing. Like, they were like such non-characters.
Oh, they were just there.
They were just there. And I don't understand. Like, they all got elemental powers.
Yeah.
Including the robot. And I'm like, I don't know why the robot has robot. I don't know why he's a robot. He doesn't use his robot abilities for anything. The best thing about the robot, at least, is that the robot at least has dialogue that's specific to him being a robot, which is whereas... That's why you'd remember him. The other ones are nothing.
The other ones, you could really kind of just interchange their dialogue with each other and things like that. Like, yeah, I was thinking that during this movie, like, okay, the team here really doesn't have that much to do with anything. At the same time, they weren't annoying me, which is something in a kid's movie. Like, at least there's that.
They weren't enough of a presence to be annoying.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, Garbodon's theme with sharks and sea life either.
I think that probably just came out of, you know what the kids like nowadays? Sharks. This movie,
it doesn't make sense with it. He has no normal... Like, he's not cohesive as a character, is the thing. Like, he's some sort of spider guy who's got a water theme who lives in a volcano, and it's a lot of ideas that I don't know come together entirely.
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, it is a very random movie. It is just, this movie has 7 screenwriters on it. I noticed that at the ending credits.
Well,
so a lot of that
sense.
probably comes from the fact, like, this guy wants him to shoot sharks out of a gun because, Twitter likes talking about sharks. And a bunch of random things with his weapons and stuff like that. I went into this movie thinking this was going to be the Iron Fist of Lego movies. And it's... it's better. I thought it was better than Iron Fist, because this movie did have things about it that I like. But this movie, more than the other 2 Lego movies, because the Lego movie I thought was great.
Yeah.
Lego Batman I thought was fine. This one more so than the other 2, because the other 2 were just smarter movies than this. This one, more than those others, it really does feel like a product. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This one really feels like a commercial.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, too, I was like, why Ninjago? Because I remember hearing that this was a show, and that's about the extent, years ago, which in terms of, kid shows is ancient. And I'm like, I don't think it's a hot property or anything. I could be wrong, because it's not my demographic, but...
There was a number of people in there.
Yeah, I just feel like Lego was like, okay, these 2 things did well building on just Legos and then on Batman, which were both known properties. So let's do something to try and push our other property, Ninjago, but they didn't really have a lot of ideas to go along with it. And it felt a little bit different in that, one of the things that was really neat about the Lego movie is, everything was Legos. Everything. And so, when they would have things like water or flames or anything, they were Legos.
Yeah.
And they would, they had this weird motion to them because it was a bunch of Lego pieces moving around. And they didn't always do that in this. The flames in the water they had just looked like flames in water.
This movie, it is, there is a lot of thought put into the making of this movie. It's a good looking movie.
Yeah.
Between the action sequences, the effects, and different things they do, this movie does, as much as it really does feel like it's a commercial for this particular thing, it does have way more of a soul to it than something like the Emoji Movie.
Oh yeah, I'm doing a lot of complaining for something that is essentially an all-right movie. Honestly, it was pretty inoffensive to me.
I felt like when I was watching this, more often than not, I was just kind of bored in this movie. I was never that annoyed. I never felt really insulted like the fucking Emoji Movie did, or some shit that you and I have gone to go see.
There were trailers before this that were more annoying than this movie.
Oh, certainly. And I was sitting there most of the time really little kids might like this, and it's I wouldn't say it's a stupid movie or anything like that. It's just, okay, little kids might like it. And
there was an occasional chuckle-worthy joke.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, there were times one of the villains in this is a cat named Meowthra. That got a lot of laughs out of me most of the time it was on screen, because it was a real cat most of the time. Sometimes it looked really CGI-y, and I was like, I don't know if I like that, but when it was a real cat sitting there toppling over these buildings, and there'd be a plane going through the air, and suddenly you just see the cat jump up like it's grabbing something, and it's guided by the ultimate weapon, which is a laser pointer, and that's what brings the cat, and it starts attacking whatever they're pointing the laser pointer. I'm like, that's actually, I thought that was actually really clever. And the cat kind of turns into the main villain of the movie.
that was one thing I wasn't sure story-wise, because you're right, I mean, the biggest laughs were probably when the cat's attacking the city.
Well, yeah.
But it's a lot to commit to the joke, to have it be the main villain of the movie, basically. I kind of wish it had just been at the end. That just been the ending joke, that would be really funny. But once you see it once, it's kind of the same thing, and you got an hour and a half of a movie.
Well, it cuts away from the cat for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not constantly there, but
when they go through the woods and everything, and they go to a place that's not the city, they're away from the cat, which even that I thought was kind of funny, because I'm like, you know, all this stuff is going on with you guys in this castle and in the woods and everything, the cat is still back there, like tearing apart this city, and a lot of background stuff got a laugh out of me in this. Like a character saying something randomly in the background, or some off-screen person reacting to something with some weird dramatic gasp in the background. Like,
they had some good supporting voice artists in this that just had like additional lines just thrown in.
Yeah.
Like, there was one where he's talking to his generals, Garbadon is, and he's asking them a bunch of questions, and he's like, "All right, you got that?" And one of them's just, "No."
Yeah.
That was funny.
Stuff like that would like get a chuckle out of me of this. And when
they occasionally had like girl voices for guy character models too, and I'm not sure why that choice.
Speaking of that, if there was one issue I had with this, and I don't know how weird it is to complain about considering they're Legos, but you could have made Lloyd and his mom like a husband and wife and not have to change the character design at all.
Yeah.
Did you notice that too?
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking was she just looked exactly like the Batgirl they had in Lego Batman. It was just the same design. And, like, I realize you're kind of limited with Legos, but it just looked like the same character to me. And it might as well have been the same voice actress. Like, it was so generic. Like, the mom was just sort of, like, pushed into the background. I don't know why. There was these promotional posters, like little mini posters on the...
Oh, yeah.
That were at the ticket desk. And the very top one was the mom, like, be kind. And then there were other ones, like, be ice, be fire, whatever, their different themes. And I'm like, what, are they acting like she was an important character? Because she really wasn't.
Can we talk about how lazy the wraparound segments are in this fucking thing?
Oh, the ones with
See,
Jackie
exactly.
Chan. No, well, but I liked those parts, though, because, like, Jackie Chan, I feel like his best comedy is... It's in physicality. It's when you can see him, and not just when he's doing action, but when you can see him in his expressions. He's not a good comedic voice actor.
I thought he was fine as a voice actor, and is better than Nutjob 2.
Oh, he's better than Nutjob 2, but like I feel like he's not the best at comedic delivery. Like sometimes there's some lines where I'm like, I could see how this is a funny line, but I don't know if that's the best delivery for it.
He got me on a couple of lines in his voiceover part, like when he said, it was like, it was about him dying. He said something like, when I die, I'm a ninja master, so when I die, it'll be to teach you a lesson, or something like that. I thought that was a good line.
I thought it was funny, too, and he was just like, I won't always be around forever. Oh, why's that? Well, because I am super, super old.
Yeah.
Like, and there were funny lines in it, too, but I laughed more at when in the wraparound segments, which were pointless.
Oh, my God.
So
pointless.
He was so mad at the cat for no reason.
Oh, that part was, that was funny with the cat, but it's these really quick man, the backstory of Shaq Fu is more intricate than the backstory in this. It is.
And they try to pretend like it was more meaningful, like, I will teach you to be a ninja master. Like, what? Who is this kid? Why do I care?
Yeah, this kid randomly goes into it would be like if in Never Ending Story, in the first 30 seconds, Bastion walks in and is like, guess I'm having a bad day. Book, read. Like, that is as much as it gets into like with this, like, because the kid just walks in and he's like, oh, I got into this shop that Jackie Chan is running, and he's like, oh, I got this Lego, his name is Lloyd, and he's not much, guess I'm having a bad day. And Jackie Chan's like, no, he's more than that, he's a ninja warrior. And this kid just kind of comes in and says a couple of lines, so I'm like, does he do this with everybody who walks in? Because there's not much to this kid or his story for you to get into this fucking gigantic story about Ninja Lloyd and his dad Gargam. Was the kid even having any issues with his dad?
No, the reason they did these wraparound segments is because Lego Movie did it. But Lego Movie, unlike this one, it was for a reason, because he had issues with his dad, which is the same thing.
Yeah.
Except that was a character in his fictional Lego universe, and he was working out his issues through this story. And whether you like that portion or not, I do think it was very weird in the Lego movie, and probably the weakest part was the live action stuff. But it makes sense for them to do that.
It meant something. Like,
in this, I felt like it maybe if the Lego, like, he looked like the Lego character or something, or if you had established anything about him, like, he didn't feel accepted by his friends.
That felt
something like that.
Like such an afterthought. Like it came from one of the 7 writers in this, and about the third or fourth pass.
In order to sell this in China, they were like, we need to see Jackie Chan on screen.
We need to actually see him in this.
All
like,
right.
The couple of lines about the cat was funny, and then at the end when he's like, "Guess I'll."
Cat turns evil. I was just thinking of like the Amityville, the lamp escapes.
Oh yeah,
where they have the evil cat at the end.
Yeah. Or at the end of Dogs, it's like, "Guess it's over now." Pans to the cat. Like Jackie
Strays.
Strays. Jackie Chan just really doesn't like this cat in this movie. Like,
I do like that there's no reason for it. It's kind of funny.
No.
Why does he keep the cat there?
The way that because it's actually a gremlin. The way that this story went, though, because of this wraparound segment where it's Jackie Chan telling this kid this story, I was like, what is this sounding like when Jackie Chan is telling this kid this story? Is it like, and then Michael Strahan on Good Morning America said, "Boy, my butt stinks," and then the Ninja Master began playing this hot 80s song? Like, what is... Okay. Get away from me, old man.
Did the kids sit there for the full hour and a half to listen to
this
his rambling Lego story?
And then he played "It's a Hard Knock Life" from Annie on his flute. What? So, like, there were a lot of times in this movie where I was thinking that, like, what is this sound? That might be kind of fascinating, honestly.
Then the robot made the 300th "I am a normal teenager" joke.
Yeah, it's great, old man.
Yeah. I didn't really quite realize, like, how prominent the "he's mad at his dad" theme was running through this movie, because, like, I realized it was going to be, like, a good portion of it, because that's what the trailer was.
Yeah.
But, you know, I figured there would be more about, like, superheroing and saving the day and stuff, but it was a lot of repeats of the same kind of jokes, like, Dad, you know, maybe is there someone that you care about in the city? And
he's
like,
where it does it like 3 times.
Yeah, that went on way too long.
It went on long.
There's one guy I miss, this guy who made great sushi, and I'm like, all right, after one time that would have been funny, but you just kept going.
It's a predictable movie. There's really no surprises.
You know exactly what's gonna happen.
There's no surprises in it. There's not like the other 2 Lego movies. It goes pretty much exactly where you think this movie's gonna go. Even when you've seen the cat in the trailer, and that was my favorite part of this movie. Even if you've seen the cat in the trailer, as soon as you see the ultimate weapon is a laser pointer, you're like, okay, now I know how the cat's going to factor into this. It was still funny. It still got me. The back and forth that he had with his dad when they were starting to bond, like when they captured his dad and everything, and they did kind of have these bonding moments, some of that I enjoyed. Some of that had some good lines to it. I was kind of liking that more than some of the action sequences.
I liked that way better than the action sequences, because honestly, all the stuff with the mech suits, I didn't care.
I know,
I just
same
tuned
here.
out. In fact, at one point, I just closed my eyes and leaned back and just waited till it sounded like something interesting was happening.
I took off like the 3D glasses, and we were sitting like square in the middle of just like kids and family around us, and like before the movie started, because I really didn't want to be here. Like, I got stuff to do, so like before the movie started, I was sitting there just going like, I hope there's not a short in front of this. Now, and I'm like, oh, I probably sound like just really grumpy, and I'm dressed like my character in this movie.
Like, I made you come see this.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, so I'm sitting here looking like John Holmes' younger brother in this Lego movie, but like, shorts are usually pretty good in front of movies. It was more so just like, I don't want to be here any longer than I have to be here. But when it got to the dad, the son, and the cat at the end, I was like, you know, this movie does have some heart to it. Honestly, it probably has more heart to it than the Lego Batman movie did. Like when he was when he had that emotional moment at the end with his dad, and when his dad was inside the cat.
There's a spider.
Oh, was there really?
There's a spider.
Oh, there he is.
God.
Oh, that's just Earl. That's just Earl. He ain't hurting nobody.
No.
He's under the seat.
He'll
But
get
boy,
me when I'm not expecting it.
Laura would be freaking out.
Stupid spider.
He just needs a ride.
Get away, spider.
He's,
Get out of here, go home.
you get out of here. You go home. Yeah, he's fine. Like, he's just under the seat now.
He's in the back. He can stay back there.
He's down there eating candy. So you're so prone to spill candy under your driver's seat,
I'm
I
just
guess.
like, nerds! I can't trying to drink this down with the soda. Turn up my music. Anyway, Ninjago.
I don't know how much else there is.
The parts with the heart in it. That's what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, like honestly, I thought it had more heart to it than the Lego Batman movie did.
I mean, like when they had the parts about mending the relationship with his dad, like and the dad was trying to make up for stuff, like that I think was the most interesting parts of the movie. That wasn't in the trailer. Like the trailer just made it seem like kind of like Lego Batman movie, where it's just a lot of fighting in the city in mech suits and stuff. Like, and I was like, is this gonna be the whole movie? And then it started the rest of it, and none of that was in the trailer. It really felt like the trailer was like their pitch. And they hadn't
pitch to
made
make this movie.
Yeah, and they hadn't made it yet, and it was the pitch, and they were like, okay, let's do it.
I guess I'm all right with that in the sense that I like this movie better than I like the trailer, and it's not like this is a movie I'm never gonna watch again. It's a movie. Yeah. It's a movie that I don't even recommend seeing it in theaters unless you got little kids. Then, you know what? Sure, yeah, it's not.
Like, there was a little girl in the bathroom that was super excited about this movie, by the way. Like, when she went in there, she's like, Ninjago, Ninjago!
Yeah, this movie, in terms of how it's made, how it looks, even some of the jokes in it, like, a lot of it did kind of fall flat for me, but it would get me every now and then. But in how it looked, how it was made, where its heart was, it was, if you're a family and you just want to take your kids to something, I would recommend this way over like Despicable Me 3 or something like that. Like,
than that.
Yeah, than some really cynical shit like that.
It didn't have any bodily fluid jokes. It didn't feel, honestly, it didn't feel pandering. Like, it felt like it fell flat a little bit, and it definitely did feel like a product to sell this show.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like. It didn't feel like something from Illumination or something.
No,
like that.
It didn't.
I mean, it felt like something that like you could put on for your little kids, and it'd be pretty harmless. They'd probably enjoy it all the way through and not be bored.
Yeah, it felt like, over at Lego, the B team made this movie.
Yeah, it definitely is the weaker of the 3 Lego movies.
Sure, but it's. It's better than some of the other kids' movies I've seen this year.
I don't know if it deserves, like, all of the negative reviews. I haven't been reading them, but I know it's not been getting great reviews. But, I mean, there were things that I was bored with parts of it. There were things that were kind of like, whatever. But, I mean, I didn't find it, like, a terrible theater experience or anything. And if you enjoy kids' movies a bit more, you probably would enjoy this.
I could say that, like, if, it's not a fraction as good as the Lego movie.
Oh, yeah.
But that I felt was a really great movie, so that's a pretty high standard right there. And this movie not being nearly as good as the Lego movie doesn't make this movie bad. It's just. It kind of feels like what maybe a lot of people who weren't looking forward to the Lego movie might have thought the Lego movie would have been.
This, of all of them, seems like something you would see, plot-wise, direct to video
Yeah.
or on TV.
It totally feels like that. It doesn't. It's well made. It doesn't. It's not. It's not that
it looks great.
Yeah, exactly.
But plot wise, it feels like
yeah.
a movie based on a TV show.
It does. It script wise and everything. It feels like a TV movie or a direct to video Lego movie.
Yeah.
So it's, for me personally, I'd call the movie a rental. If you got if you got a family and your kids really want to see this, there are way worse kids stuff that you could be dragged to other than this movie.
For sure.
So, you might be a little bored, but whatever. It was probably like 90 minutes long.
It is what a lot of rentals are. Suitable.
Yeah.
It's you're like, well, oh, why not?
You get to see a
got
cat.
some time to kill.
You get to see a cat tear apart a Lego set. Like that was funny. That was really funny. Any other final thoughts about this?
I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah. Thanks a bunch, everyone in the chat, for coming to watch. Next week, crap. Fuck is next week? Is it Flatliners? Shit. I can't fucking remember, but anyway, I've been focused on other things. I gotta direct a movie on Sunday, so I have a couple more days to rock this sweet look I got going on. I'll ask Laura if I can keep it. Alright, thanks a bunch, everyone. See ya.
Bye.